Something strange has been happening in our oceans. Killer whales, the graceful giants of the sea, are turning unexpectedly aggressive. And the worst part is, no one knows why. What's driving these intelligent giants to act out? A team of fearless scientists has set sail, determined to uncover the truth. Is it environmental changes pushing them to the edge? Or are we about to uncover something far more unsettling beneath the surface? Killer whales, or orcas, are like the James Bond of the ocean world. Sleek, intelligent, and totally in charge. These black and white predators, the largest members of the dolphin family, roam the oceans with a confidence that screams apex predator. From the icy waters of the Arctic to the warmer, more inviting tropical seas, killer whales are everywhere, ruling the marine food chain with style and strategy. But lately, they've been making headlines for something a little more unexpected. For years, orcas have been the epitome of calculated grace. They hunt in pods, often consisting of up to 40 members, all led by a wise matriarchal leader. Their family bonds are as tight as their hunting strategies are sharp. These animals communicate using a unique language of clicks and whistles, forming what scientists describe as cultures, each pod having its own customs and learned behaviors. That intelligence is what makes them so fascinating, but it's also what's adding a touch of mystery and a bit of menace to recent events. Since 2020, a group of orcas near the Iberian Peninsula has been acting out in a way that's left scientists scratching their heads. Picture this: small sailing boats drifting peacefully off the coast of Spain and Portugal suddenly find themselves under attack. Yes, you heard that right. Killer whales ramming into boats, focusing with laser precision on damaging their rudders. It's as if they're saying, "We know how this thing works, and we're not fans." These incidents have been documented over 600 times, and the damage has ranged from inconveniences to full-on yachts sinking. But why? That's the million-dollar question. Marine experts, including the Atlantic Orca Working Group, are digging into the mystery. One theory points to a traumatic event. There's an orca named White Gladys, a name that sounds straight out of a thriller novel, who may have had a bad encounter with a boat. It's possible this trauma has sparked a vendetta of sorts, and because orcas are such social creatures, her behavior might have influenced her pod. Imagine if she's the rebel leader of a group that's decided boats are the enemy. Drama, right? But not all scientists are convinced this is about revenge. Some think it's playfulness taken to extremes. Orcas, especially the younger ones, are incredibly curious and may just find boats and their moving parts irresistible. Then there's the theory that these interactions might be a form of hunting practice, boats mimicking the size and movement of prey like tuna, giving the orcas a chance to hone their skills. Each theory paints a picture of these creatures' depth and complexity, but none offer a full explanation. The situation is bittersweet because the orca population in these waters is already vulnerable, with fewer than 40 individuals remaining. Researchers are urging sailors to avoid known orca hotspots and report any encounters to better understand these behaviors. Meanwhile, sailors are advised to keep their boats still and their interactions with the orcas minimal to avoid escalating tensions. It's fascinating and a little unsettling to think about what's going on in the minds of these creatures. Are they teaching us a lesson, playing games, or simply adapting to a world that's changing faster than they can swim? Whatever the case, one thing's for sure. Killer whales are far more than just ocean predators. They're the drama kings and queens of the deep. Imagine you're sailing peacefully across the Strait of Gibraltar, the wind filling the sails, and the horizon stretching endlessly. But then, out of nowhere, a shadow glides beneath your boat. A massive dorsal fin cuts through the water, and before you can fully process what's happening, your vessel jolts violently. It's not just one, it's a group of killer whales, and they're not here for a friendly swim. That's exactly what happened to the crew of a yacht navigating the strait in 2024. A pod of orcas repeatedly rammed the boat, zeroing in on the rudder like it was their mission. Their precision and persistence were almost surgical. The yacht didn't stand a chance and had to call for rescue before it sank. This wasn't a one-off incident either. Similar stories have been surfacing, with orcas in this region gaining a reputation for these coordinated attacks. So, what's going on? Why are these usually majestic, highly intelligent creatures suddenly targeting boats? Some scientists believe it could all trace back to a traumatic event. Imagine one of these orcas being struck by a boat or tangled in fishing gear. Orcas are incredibly social, and their ability to learn and share behaviors within their pods is unmatched. If one orca started attacking boats as a defensive or even vengeful act, others could quickly pick up on it. It's like a ripple effect. Only in this case, the ripples are 30-ton marine mammals slamming into rudders. But trauma isn't the only theory. The Strait of Gibraltar is a hotspot for maritime traffic, overfishing, and noise pollution. These environmental stressors are putting immense pressure on the orcas. With tuna, one of their favorite foods, becoming scarce, who's to say they aren't lashing out at what they perceive as threats, or simply investigating these strange objects floating in their hunting grounds? Some experts even suggest that their behavior might not be entirely aggressive, but exploratory. Still, when an orca explores your boat, it can leave you stranded, or worse. It's both fascinating and chilling to see these behaviors unfold. Are we witnessing a form of animal rebellion, a cry for help, or something else entirely? Whatever the reason, these interactions are a stark reminder of how much we still don't know about the natural world, and how our actions might be impacting it in ways we can't fully understand. These encounters leave us with a burning question. What's really driving these killer whales to target boats with such precision and intent? Is it a cry for help, revenge, or pure curiosity? To uncover the truth, let's dive into the scientific research that's beginning to shed light on this mysterious behavior. The seas around the Iberian Peninsula have always been a hotspot for marine life, but in recent years, something extraordinary and a little unsettling has been happening. Since 2020, a series of unusual incidents involving killer whales or orcas have left scientists, sailors, and anyone who loves the ocean scratching their heads. These majestic creatures, usually admired for their intelligence and beauty, have been interacting with boats in ways that range from curious to downright destructive. We're not talking about harmless splashes or playful nudges. No, these interactions have escalated to the point where boats are being damaged, and even sunk. Yes, you read that right. Killer whales are targeting boats, and what they're doing is no small feat. Some boats have been left without rudders, while others didn't survive the encounter at all. Over the last few years, nearly 700 reports of these incidents have poured in, mostly from the Strait of Gibraltar. Imagine being out on the water, soaking in the salty air, when suddenly a pod of orcas decides your boat is their new target. It's the stuff of oceanic thrillers. So, what's going on here? Why are these highly intelligent creatures, who normally coexist peacefully with humans, suddenly flipping the script? That's the big question, and there are several theories floating around. One of the most compelling and heartbreaking ideas is that this might all stem from trauma. Picture this. An orca experiences a traumatic event, like a collision with a boat. The pain, the fear, it sticks. And then, being the social and incredibly smart animals they are, this behavior spreads through the pod. It's as if one orca's bad experience has sparked a ripple effect, turning boats into something to retaliate against or experiment with. But that's not the only theory. Some researchers believe this behavior might actually be fun for them. As strange as it sounds, orcas are known to be playful and curious, almost like underwater geniuses with a taste for mischief. Could it be that they see boats as oversized toys? Maybe. But if that's the case, their playtime is wreaking havoc on sailors and yachts alike. And here's another twist. Some scientists think it could be a trend within certain pods. That's right, a sort of orca social fad. What starts as a peculiar behavior in one pod might catch on like wildfire, spreading from one group to another. It's fascinating and a little eerie to think that even in the depths of the ocean, peer pressure is alive and well. Of course, we can't ignore the role of the environment in all this. The waters these orcas call home have been changing rapidly, and not in a good way. Overfishing has depleted their food sources, particularly tuna, which is a favorite on their menu. Frustration and hunger can drive even the most peaceful creatures to act out, and some experts believe these boat interactions are a direct response to their dwindling resources. It's a sobering thought. These majestic animals might be fighting back against the human activities that are making their survival harder every day. The situation came to a head in May 2024, when a group of orcas attacked and sank a 50-foot sailing yacht in the Strait of Gibraltar. This wasn't the first time they've done this either. In just 3 years, 5 boats have been sent to the bottom of the sea, courtesy of these orcas. Let that sink in for a moment. 5 boats. What's even more alarming is that these incidents are becoming more frequent, more aggressive, and frankly, more puzzling. Sailors and researchers are scrambling for solutions. Some suggest avoiding orca-heavy zones altogether, while others recommend slowing down boat speeds to make vessels less interesting to the whales. There's even talk of reinforcing rudders or using noise-making devices to deter the animals. But here's the catch. None of these ideas are foolproof. Orcas are smart, adaptable, and not easily deterred. Every encounter feels like a game of chess, where the whales always seem one move ahead. And that's what makes this story so complex. On one hand, you have the very real danger these interactions pose to sailors and their vessels. On the other hand, you can't help but feel for the orcas. These are creatures navigating a world that's changing rapidly and not in their favor. Their intelligence, curiosity, and adaptability, qualities that make them so remarkable, might also be driving this unusual behavior. As researchers dive deeper into this mystery, one thing is clear: there's no easy fix. This isn't just about protecting boats or understanding the orcas' motives. It's about finding a way for humans and these incredible creatures to coexist in a world where the balance of nature is already so fragile. Until we get there, every trip through the Strait of Gibraltar carries a mix of wonder and unease. Because out there, beneath the waves, the orcas are watching, and they're anything but predictable. These encounters with killer whales are more than just startling events. They're signals of deeper issues brewing beneath the surface. From environmental strain to disrupted ecosystems, these attacks are painting a vivid picture of the challenges marine life faces. But what do they truly reveal about the state of our oceans? Orcas targeting boats might seem dramatic or terrifying, but it's really a wake-up call about the trouble brewing in our oceans. These attacks go far beyond simple curiosity or aggression. They hint at a much bigger story unfolding beneath the waves. What's driving these intelligent, highly social creatures to zero in on boats? The answer might lie in the stress and struggles of a rapidly changing ocean. Let's start with the most obvious problem: climate change. As ocean temperatures rise, the delicate balance of marine ecosystems is falling apart. Fish species like tuna, a primary food source for orcas, are fleeing toward cooler waters. And when their prey disappears, orcas don't have the luxury of just packing up and moving to a new hunting ground. They're apex predators, sure, but even the top of the food chain has its limits. With fewer resources to rely on, they're forced to adapt in ways that bring them uncomfortably close to human activity. Scientists believe the behavior might be a direct response to our impact on their environment. Overfishing is robbing orcas of their favorite meals, like tuna, leaving them with fewer options. Imagine an apex predator suddenly unable to find enough food. Desperation doesn't even begin to describe it. When food sources disappear, orcas may see boats as either rivals stealing their dwindling resources, or in some cases, as a new object of exploration. But it's not just about hunger. Marine biologist Eric Hoyt suggests these behaviors could be tied to resource competition. Boats buzzing through the oceans might now feel like intruders to orcas. They could be reacting not out of malice, but frustration, driven by a rapidly changing environment they're struggling to adapt to. And it's not just overfishing. Climate change is shaking things up too. Rising sea temperatures push fish populations into cooler waters, forcing orcas to follow. Their territories are shifting, overlapping with areas packed with human activity. More humans mean more boats, and you can guess how that's working out. Now, let's add another layer of complexity: noise pollution. The constant hum and roar of engines disrupt marine life in ways we're only beginning to understand. Orcas rely on echolocation to hunt and communicate. But how do they do that when the ocean sounds like a highway? It's like trying to hold a conversation at a rock concert. This sensory overload might be adding to their stress, causing behaviors that seem aggressive, but could just be an overwhelmed animal lashing out. And while some attacks might be acts of frustration or stress, there's another possibility: curiosity. Orcas are incredibly intelligent, with social structures that rival our own. They learn behaviors, pass them down, and even teach their young. Some scientists believe these interactions with boats could be experimental or playful in nature, though to us, their games are anything but harmless. So, what's the bigger picture here? These attacks aren't just about killer whales and boats. They're a mirror reflecting the state of our oceans. Overfishing, climate change, and pollution are creating a ripple effect that's altering ecosystems and pushing apex predators into uncharted waters, literally and figuratively. Conservation efforts, like establishing marine sanctuaries and stricter fishing regulations, could help restore balance. But the question remains: can we act fast enough to undo the damage? This isn't just about the safety of sailors or the future of orcas. It's about the health of our oceans. And when the ocean suffers, we all feel the consequences. Killer whales have always been a marvel of the sea, but what's happening along the Iberian Peninsula is a chilling reminder of just how little we truly understand about these creatures. Their sudden and deliberate attack on boats are more than just a spectacle. They're a puzzle that leaves us questioning our impact on the natural world and our fragile coexistence with it. Could this be their way of reclaiming their waters? Or are we witnessing a desperate response to something we've overlooked for too long? These encounters aren't just about damaged rudders and capsized vessels. They're about a deeper narrative, one that challenges everything we thought we knew about the ocean's most intelligent predators. The unanswered questions linger like a storm on the horizon. What do they want? What are they trying to tell us? And most importantly, are we prepared for what comes next if we fail to listen? One thing's for certain: this isn't just a story about killer whales. It's a story about us, the way we treat the oceans, and the delicate balance we so often take for granted. Until we understand the full scope of their behavior, every voyage through their waters carries the weight of the unknown, and that alone should leave us on edge. So, what do you think is really going on here? Are the orcas trying to send us a message, or is this just a glimpse into their untamed nature? As we navigate these mysteries, it's clear our relationship with the oceans is more fragile than we imagined. Let us know your thoughts, and thanks for watching.